first off, the credit scoring system. Usually financial institutions, when they want to rely on an older or an older consumer report, what they say is, well, I don't want to hurt our customers' credit, and so we don't want to pull another one. But here's the thing. That's kind of the point. If a customer is going around and having multiple credit reports pulled, that actually impacts their risk. So we as financial institutions should not be helping them, cheat the scoring system. In fact, you don't own the credit scoring system, and they have all kinds of moving parts on how that works. And the understanding is, if somebody's going around and shopping for credit, there is additional risk there. If they're pulling consumer reports on multiple places, there's all kinds of red flags and things that could be generated based on that activity. So don't try to screw up the reporting thing. And also, what if there's a fraud alert that might pop up on that particular score that they would become aware of if you've pulled it with every credit request? Now, if you look, this is our November 2016 newsletter, so this isn't new information, but if you look at some of the different areas in there, for instance, under the FCRA, if you go and you take a look under that section, really you are certifying that you aren't using the consumer report. If you are accessing a consumer report, you're certifying that you're not using it for anything other than the legitimate purpose that you pulled it for. So if you pulled it for this credit request, you're certifying that that's what I'm using it for. I'm not necessarily using it for another credit request at some point in the future. So under the FCRA itself, you're kind of on shaky ground. But also then look at some of the other regs. Under the ability to repay rules, you are supposed to consider, one of the requirements under the ATR rules is that you consider all current debts. Okay. Now, under those rules, most financial institutions follow the guidance that says you can rely on a credit report or a consumer report to document all current debts. That goes out the window if you are not looking at a current consumer report. So you're going to set yourself up for ATR problems if you're reusing, consumer reports. Under the Military Lending Act, again, there's a safe harbor out there that says that you can rely on a consumer report. However, baked into the Military Lending Act, it says you can own that whatever report you're looking at or whatever you're relying on, it has to have been obtained, or if you're going to go out to that MLA website and double check it there, it has to be done within the last 30 days. So if you're relying on that, your consumer report, and you're reusing them, if it's over 30 days, you're going to have MLA problems. And then also we've had a lot of feedback. There's various rules under the FCRA with respect to credit scores and fraud alerts, and regulators themselves are starting to get on board with this as well. They're saying, look, it's creating consumer harm. First off, they're not getting those fraud alerts in a timely fashion. Maybe a customer has fixed something or paid something off in that interim period, and so there's potential harm where their scores are actually going up. And if you're relying on an older score, maybe they're not being treated, appropriately for what's been going on in their credit history. So a lot of moving parts, and that article gets into it in a little more detail. But then finally, the other thing is you might be setting yourself up with contractual problems. Okay. A lot of consumer reporting agencies or people who are issuing these consumer reports, in your contractual agreement, it specifically says that you should not be reusing these credit reports. Okay. It says you need to pull one every time. Now, some of them are silent on this fact, so it might not be a contractual issue, but definitely if you are going through this process and you are reusing credit reports, even if it's for a short amount of time, I'd encourage you to rethink it. Maybe take a look at that article that's on the next couple of pages 4 through 6. I encourage you to take a look at that and maybe reevaluate the situation.